48% of all salespeople make one call, and after a solid no from a potential client, they stop calling. 25% make 2 calls and stop. 15% make 3 calls and stop. And 12% make 3 calls and continue. These people are responsible for 80% of all sales. Therefore, commissionable income as well. So we look at it, and that's what someone says, how do we become an above average salesperson? I'm like, make 4 calls. Right? It's really, that's part of it. Make 4 calls. Follow through. Right? It's about really adding variety and kind of fun, but it's also about not quitting. And his name was Glenn, and Glenn worked for Lanier Copiers. And I remember the first day he came to our office, it was myself, Peggy, a salesperson, a PR person, and the accountant who just sort of wandered around and did his own thing. I don't know. Still can't remember if we actually employed him or he just hung out there. But, so that's who was in the office. So one day, this guy, Glenn, comes through the front door, and he just doesn't knock on the door. He's like, comes in like Super Glenn or something. He kind of comes in, and he's like, hi, I'm Glenn, like that. And I'm like, wow, what are you selling, right? He's like, so, and I was ready to literally turn him around, but just as like, because it was just too much, the guy next door came with him and said, oh, I told Glenn he should come over because, and the guy next door owned an import-export company, really nice guy, and said, look, Glenn just gave me this, put this document management system together for me. I really think that you guys should take a look at what he's doing. It's pretty neat stuff. And you guys produce all these manuals and whatnot. And it was kind of an endorsement. So he brought an endorsement. So what a great way to get through the door, right? Past the sort of attraction stage and the exploration stage. And so we're chatting away, and Glenn's kind of giving me the pitch, like right off the bat. And I'm holding his brochure, and I look at him, and I say, Glenn, I want to be honest. Now, this is a no. Tell me if this is a mediocre no or a good no. I said, Glenn, I'm a salesperson. One of the things I hate is when people waste my time. They're like maybe and sort of, and they invite you back over and over again. They just won't spit it out that they don't want to buy. So here's the bottom line. I'm not buying. And I don't want to waste your time. Because I really respect your time as a salesperson, and we're not a prospect. So thanks, but no thanks. Is that a pretty good no? That's a no. That's a no. So Glenn goes, I don't like people wasting my time either. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Peggy. Can I ask you a question? Sure, Glenn. He goes, how about I leave this brochure here for you on the corner of Peggy's desk? And I'm going to come back next Friday, which is like a week from then. And if it's still like right there, I know you haven't looked at it, I'm just going to pick it up and I'm going to leave and I won't bug you. But if it's not there, that means you've read it and you got some interest, and I'll book an appointment through Peggy or whatever, and I'll come back and visit you. And I said, sure, fine. So he leaves, and then he leaves. Peggy goes, he's not coming back. Like, there's no way I'd come back. Like, she goes, I'm not usually even like that, but he was so much, I knew I had to really give him an oomph if he's going to leave. So about an hour later, I get a fax, and it's Glenn, and he says, nice to meet ya. Thanks for checking out the brochure. And I'm going, wow, okay, this is interesting. Good follow-up. The next Friday, I'm thinking, all of a sudden I realize in the morning, he's going to come back. So I thought, because I'm really a lot of courage and stuff, what I said to Peggy is I said, Peggy, what I'd like you to do is I'm going to be down the hall for most of the day, and when Glenn comes to the door, just simply say, hi, Glenn, like that. Then I know he's coming, right? I'm going to lock my door and you tell him I'm booked. Is that fine? She's, oh, geez, you're a gutsy guy, but okay, sure, I can do that for you. So I thought I had it covered, but then, of course, I was walking from my office to the copier room, and there's this diagonal hallway, and the front door opens, and, there he comes, and there's me, like, trying to, get in the hallway. And he says, Shane. I'm like, hey, how's it going, right? And he says, hey, and she, I heard the hi, Glenn. I'm like, yeah, it's too late. Don't worry, he caught me. So I come down, and, he's a nice guy, so I'm friendly, and all of a sudden you can see him kind of go from friendly to, gee, okay, well, I see you didn't read it, right? And he's got his brochure there, and all of a sudden he goes, so do you have like 2 minutes? Not Glenn, I've been working all day. I've been sending out courier packages to conferences. It's 2 o'clock now. It's Friday. I haven't eaten lunch. I've got like a 10-minute break, and I'm going down to get a coffee and a muffin, and then I'm back at it till like 7 o'clock. He goes, oh, great. I haven't had a break either. he goes, do you mind if I grab a coffee with you? My treat. And I promise we won't talk about copiers, And I said, sure. So he went down with me, and he read my personality well, too, because he wouldn't have done that to this sort of engineering-minded import-export guy, really analytical next door. Like, I know he must have handled him differently. But with me, he noticed, okay, well, this guy likes to be zapped and have some fun, so I'm going to play around with him a bit. So as we got down there, and I'm literally thinking time plus genuine assistance, right? Relationship building, you spend time with someone, you start to like them. then you end up buying something from him, right? I know this trick. So I decided, so the whole time he's talking to me, I'm like, I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy. Do not get sucked in by Glenn, right? And I'm like, so I'm on the way up the stairs, all of a sudden, Glenn looks at me and I go, you know what, can I give you some feedback? And I'm starting to give him sales advice. And I'm realizing, he got me. Yeah, he's got me, right? So anyways, we had a coffee and a muffin. He never talked about his business. He talked about mine and sports and the weather and everything else. He didn't follow me back to the office. He left me alone. And he said, see you later. So I thought, okay, probably got rid of him by now. But once again, later on that week, the following week, I got a fax from Glenn again. Good to see you, Shane. Look, let me know if anything changes, you know, toner, et cetera, whatever. So next Friday, he doesn't come. So actually, no, he does come. Sorry, the next Friday he does come, and I don't hear like, "Hi, Glenn." Here's what I hear: "Oh yeah, he's down the hall." So he's obviously snuck in. He's buttered up Peggy, right? He's talked to all the staff. Everybody knows Glenn now except me. And so he comes down the hall, and I'm like ready to like, you know, just chuck him. Like I can't believe he's destroyed my lines of defense. Now he's walking into my office, and then he comes around the corner, and he's got 2 coffees and 2 muffins. He says, look, I thought you would be busy again today. And I'm like, yes, I am. He said, so I got you a coffee and a muffin. He goes, but I don't have to stay. I'm like, sit down. Come on, let's have a chat, right? So we're chatting away. And then, honestly, he just stayed for a few seconds and he left. And another little note came again on the fax. And the next week he didn't come back. And I said to Peggy, look, he obviously invested, you know, a couple meetings, a couple coffees. He's over budget with me. I'm not buying. I'll never see him again. So we did a massive mail out to like, I can't remember the number now, but I think it's close to 10,000 economic developers across North America. And could have bought a brand new car for the price of this mail drop, full color brochures and the whole thing. And back then, of course, it was like 94, I guess, or 95. So not a lot of email responses back then for marketing. So it was fax back. And so we had to wait for these people to fill in like what products they wanted to buy or give us information on a seminar. And so we had these orders coming through on the fax. And the first while, nothing happened. And we were like terrified. We just threw away like thousands and thousands of dollars. And it was more than just like this month's marketing budget. It was like this quarter's budget and then over some. So anyway, the fax does ring and the orders come through. And by the Wednesday, we were almost at break even. And by about Thursday afternoon, we started making profit. And Friday, things are really cooking. And back then, of course, we all remember the thermal fax, right? Some of us probably still have one haunting us at home. But so this thing would come through. And then all of a sudden, I hear this funny noise. And it sounds like this. You know, and I thought, that's a funny sound to come out of the fax. And I heard click, click, crunch, crunch, crunch. And I could just smell money burning now because this thing was starting to pile up inside and break. So, of course, I tried to help it. So I was beating on a little bit. And then Peggy came around the corner to try to give me advice. And I kind of barked at her, and she ran down the hallway pretty upset at me. And so there I am with this fax, somewhat in pieces. And then I hear, hi, Glenn. I thought, oh, no, right? I'm in trouble. So Glenn comes around the corner, and I look at him like, I will kill you if you try to sell me a fax. He goes, I'm not going to try to sell you a fax. He like read my mind, like right there. And he said, but I'll tell you what, I heard Peggy told me what's going on. And I'll tell you what I can do for you. He says, I got some demo models, the new plain paper ones when they just came out. He says, and I'm going to put this in your office, and my boss won't know. And you can keep it for like the next 5 or 6 days for your marketing campaign, and you've got to either fix this antique you've got here or get another cheap one. I said, thank you so much. I owe you one. And he's like, yes, he didn't say that, but yeah, he says, yeah, well, you'll get you later. Don't worry about it. And so anyway, so then I was supposed to have it for a week, but he came back the next Wednesday. And he says, Shane, I hate to tell you, but I got to take this machine today. And I said, man, that's like blackmail. Like you're trying to shut me down. He goes, no, actually, between me and a couple of the salespeople, we had like $100,000 of equipment out. And our boss made us do our ABCs. And I had to be really honest that you were basically a C, like not really a C, but you're my buddy. You know, you're not really a customer, you're not a prospect. And I said, well, maybe I am. Next thing you know, I'm signing a lease for this. Back then, plain paper fax was like $3,800, right? So I'm signing a short-term lease on this thing. And then I'm buying all kinds of other stuff for it. And then a few months later, our copier hits 100,000 copies, and they roll it to Xerox, and in comes the Linear. And I did business with him for a number of years. Now, I actually don't know. I just keep trying to find Glenn, but I can't find him. I think he moved back to Toronto. But who would agree that probably no matter where Glenn's at and what he's doing, he's probably doing pretty good in business? Yeah. Right? Follow through. Tenacious. And I think that too often, we leave a lot of money on the table just by not asking for the business or taking the next step. And we can do it in a fun way, right? You don't have to do it like Glenn, but really what it was is that he used frequency in his process.